Good morning, ladies. This is Kay on West Creek Stampers. I'm just hopping on here real quick on a rainy day in February, and this is February 28th, so we have one more day left of celebration. That's just a reminder to those of you who might want to take advantage of any of the celebration specials. But I wanted to show you real quick these two cards that I made super fast. This one is the bookmark piece that was in Paper Pumpkin from January 24. And this is called a stencil technique with the paper butterfly accents. So I'm going to show you this one first because the butterfly that we sponge here, we're going to use on this card. I am using a 5.5 by 8.5 white card base, and we're going to fold it in half. And I thought I had everything here, but I don't have my bone folder, so we're going to make do without it. Now this is a white piece also, and I ran it through an old embossing folder called Country Floral. There is an embossing folder similar to that in the mini catalog. The flowers are bigger in it, but it's very similar that you could use. I just used this one that I had from the past. So on this one, after I did my sponging on my butterfly, I took it a little bit over the top of the white embossed piece, just to give it a little pop. So I'm going to show you here real quick what I did to make this stenciled butterfly. Here is one that I did straight across. So you could do it like this as well, but I kind of like the diagonal look, so I'm taking my butterfly, and this you could use either a square, you could use a circle, you could use actually any shape. This actually is some leftover boo-boos from one of our Christmas cards that I cut for, and that die is in the Christmas Classics. So that's what that is. I hold a whole stack. I had a whole stack of these cut that I didn't end up using in the card we did. And so now I'm looking for a way to use them. So for the stencil effect, I'm using my blending brush, and I'm starting off because you usually get a blob like that when you start out, and I'm holding one finger. You could use some washi tape to kind of hold that down. The problem you have to watch out for is shifting and those little antennae. You don't want to break off those little antennae. So I'm going over the butterfly as best I can, and this one's coming out a little darker than the other one. I ended up re-inking this stamp pad. I'm using Gorgeous Great, one of my favorite colors. And so usually when I re-ink, sometimes it's a little darker than I might expect, but it's sponging and it's stenciling, and it's not a perfect science. So I think I'm going to be happy with that. And there it is. And my butterfly is actually nice and bright and white. So then I took a piece of, this is from the lavender paper, and that is in the mini catalog right now. It's Perennial Lavender. It's one of those pieces, and this is 3x3 square. So I'm putting, and you could pop this up if you want to. Sometimes I choose not to do a lot of popping because of mailing. So then that centers on there, and I like the diagonal look. And now I'm going to take what's left over on my blending brush and just go over this embossed white piece. And it catches the flowers. It gives you a little pop of color on this since we're having white on white. And I got a little more color on this one than I actually did on the first one I did, because I'm sure it's because of re-inking. I'm going to close that right now so I don't get in it. And so this is easy peasy. For embossed pieces like this, I usually always use my green glue because sometimes the tape doesn't hold as well on the ups and downs. I also cut a piece of Gorgeous Grape, 3 1/4 by 3 1/4, to mat that. I kind of thought it needed it. At first I did this, and then I'm like, oh, I think that just needs a little boost. So I used a piece of Gorgeous Grape there to mat it. This is a very easy card. You could use any embossed piece in the back, or you wouldn't even have to. You could use a printed paper, a more plain printed paper. So then for the tag, and when I take this off of there, I'm going to weight this down because this is a very deep emboss. So I used the stamps from, let me see here, Sending Smiles. I try to put things out because I always lose my mind when I get on these videos. So I stamped a note of thanks, cut that out, and then the die I cut again in Gorgeous Grape. And I really need my silicone mat over here to do this because of the glue that I'm probably going to get on my paper, but we're going to make do. That will wiggle a little bit. So before it sets, you want to make sure. Even though it wiggles, it seems like this green glue does set very quickly sometimes. And so then I split that down the middle. And then I want to make sure I have the right side. And then put it on the back just so you can see it. It just makes it pop a little better. I got a little bit extra glue there, but I don't think that's going to show. And that's wiggling a little bit. So then I put that tag right there. I try to put a thank you card in with all of my orders, and I do go through a fair amount of them. Okay, so there we go. That one is all done. I'm going to put a weight on there till that dries. So the second card that I made then with the butterfly, I used white again, 8 1/2 by 5 1/2. And I used a piece of paper, again, from that lavender. And I used this, this side. It's kind of like a plaid. It's I didn't look up the color of that, but almost like a crumb cakey color. I'm not sure. So this is 4 by 5 1/4 piece of DSP from that lavender DSP. And then this is actually the piece that they had in the kit, the paper pumpkin kit in January, to make a bookmark. I had made a lot of bookmarks over Christmas and given to my downline, and to my Paper Pumpkin subscribers. So I really didn't need any more bookmarks. This was the piece that was in the Paper Pumpkin, so I had an extra one of those. You could use that there, or this is the one that I punched 2 of these from the bow punch, and that would give you a very similar effect. So I'm trying to remember what that shade is. I did know, but like I told you before, my mind goes when I'm on these videos. So I put a little glue on there to hold that down. I stamped, this was one of the extra tags from the Paper Pumpkin kit. And I stamped thank you on that. And I did pop that one up using 2 of our dimensionals. I used Gorgeous Grape ink, and I used Something Fancy as my stamp for this. So I'm going to put that right there. You can put a little bit of bling on this. I used these gems, Purple Fine Shimmer gems. I think they might still be unavailable to order right now, but I like to put one on there. Here's our butterfly that we did when we did our stenciling. Now, I know some of you did not buy these butterflies, so you could put this butterfly. I actually think it might show up a little nicer there. But, let's see. I kind of like it on the flowers better. So, you can buy these packs of paper butterfly accents. There are different sizes and shapes. Some of you, I know someone who was here in the workshop said they have a punch that punches butterflies similar to this. Some of you probably have the dies that we had at one point. So you can get your butterflies anywhere. You could do that stenciling with any of your other butterflies. So I'm going to put one more gem on here because I have 2 on there, and to balance, they always say it's nice to put 3. So I'm going to put one right up there. My one antenna got a little wonky with the stenciling, so that is one thing you have to watch out for. And when I did this, you can't really see where the antenna are, but I don't think that's really going to matter to the person who gets the card. So I hope this helps you in making a card today. For this, if you don't have that Paper Pumpkin set, you could always cut a rectangle here with some of your bright colored paper. You can do a lot of things with a shape like this, and putting it on a contrasting color kind of helps make it pop a little more. So, okay, ladies, thanks for watching, and have a wonderful day.